Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting, Franklin County. Today is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. I will at this time call the meeting to order and please ask that everyone join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adoption of current agenda. So there's been some changes I see. The workshop item, was that pulled from the agenda to move to HAPO? The discussion with the legislators?
Yeah, that was never on the workshop.
It wasn't?
No,
Okay.
that wasn't. So there was a little bit of miscommunication and thinking that we wanted it at the HAPO Center because we had a larger response to who was going to be there. So, so the meeting's still going on this morning out there.
So we'll have to adjust this meeting in order to,
Yeah, and I would think, the organizational chart, that can be discussed on the 26th. The hub presentation, we do have our brokerage that's going to give our insurance brokerage is going to give a short presentation on what's been going on with our health benefits, and just look at something else.
Any idea how long that hub presentation?
My understanding is about 15 minutes, so maybe 20, so it shouldn't be tremendously long.
My understanding is they're going to be remote.
Yes, and they're going to update us on claim numbers and, how healthy we are, and, as we head into the next season with picking benefits. And so they just want to give us a quick update on where we're at.
Would it detrimentally affect anything if we were to move that to the 26th as well?
Commissioner, I don't think so. It's really just updating the numbers and the claims that we've had, so it might give them more time to prepare and give a clearer picture. So I don't necessarily see a problem with it, to be honest with you.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may, I would move for adoption of the current agenda with a couple of adjustments to cancel the workshop discussion that would typically follow this meeting. And then under the consent agenda, item number 1, there was a math error in the original resolution that we got, and there's been a new document has been provided to us with the updated and correct numbers in that, and so I would move for approval with those corrections.
I'll second.
there's been a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Yeah. Approval of meeting minutes.
I have no additions, corrections, or revisions.
No adjustments.
All right. Meeting minutes are approved.
Are they downstairs?
All right. Where are the vouchers at? Okay. Do we need her for public comment?
We can go public comment.
Okay. While she's retrieving the vouchers, is there anyone in the room for public comment? If so, please come forward, state your name. Yeah, 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning. You know how I love to get up here.
Good morning.
My name's Angie Manarola, and yesterday I sent an email to Matt Rasmussen, and he forwarded it to the Benton County Commissioners, so I would just like to read what my email said for you guys too.
Sure.
My name is Angie Manarola. I am a citizen of Franklin County. I am on the Bi-County Behavioral Health Advisory Board. I would like to encourage a bi-county meeting between the Franklin County Commissioners, the Benton County Commissioners, the members of the Bi-County Behavioral Health Advisory Board, and the members of the Recovery Coalition Board, as well as any citizens interested in this meeting. This will give anyone who has a question or concern a chance to have everyone hear the same discussion. I would also encourage the commissioners from Franklin and Benton County to make it a priority to meet together quarterly to discuss any bi-county business. I will continue to reach out to the Franklin County Commissioners with the same request. And also, we have an advisory meeting tomorrow at 2 at the Benton County Commissioners Conference Room. And I hope you can all come. And I'm glad that you guys are going to get over to the HAPO building today. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the room for public comment? Welcome. We're in the middle of public comment. If you have any public comments, please come forward to the mic and state your name, and you have 3 minutes. We're currently waiting for the vouchers to come upstairs, so.
Anybody online, he may know.
I don't. All right.
Trying to make it out there.
We will rejoin the meeting here just as soon as the clerk of the board is back, which should be within a minute or two. So again, if there's anybody in the room for public comment, now is a good opportunity.
And Chair, I just received a text from Maria Perez. There are no callers on the line if we want to move on to the next phase.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel comfortable moving on
Okay.
without the clerk
Sure.
of the board, so.
I hear some feet coming.
This morning, we have 2 vouchers. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve fund expenditures in the amount of $392,527.87 and note that it has been authorized or been reviewed by 2 members of the Auditor's Office and signed by the County Administrator.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve fund expenditures in the amount of $1,240,769.64 and note that it has been reviewed by 2 members of the Auditor's Office.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we've already done public comment. We'll move on to approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the consent agenda as amended with the agenda items 1 through 3.
I second.
It's been a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Regular business, request for consensus withdrawal from the Bi-County Adult Drug Court, presented by Jeff Briggs.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We are currently in a bi-county.
Talk a little closer.
So we're currently in an interlocal agreement. We've been in that agreement at least since 2019, but I think probably longer than that. And pursuant to that agreement, we have a bi-county system for juvenile drug court, functional family therapy, selective aggressive probation, which is another juvenile court program, detention mental health team, and education employment training programs. So in addition to that, there's also the adult drug court program. Unfortunately, all these programs are in the same interlocal agreement. Now, under that agreement, we can terminate it by June 30th of each year. Otherwise, it automatically renews. And so we no longer have a need for adult drug courts, but we do have a need for these other programs. So what I'm asking the commissioners is for authority by a motion, basically directing me to send a letter to Benton County, letting them know that we no longer want to be in this bi-county drug court system, but we want to preserve these other programs that we currently have with Benton County. And so what that's ultimately going to require is a new interlocal agreement. I don't know that we could agree to modify it, but at the very least, we need to send out that termination notice this month so we can get out of that adult drug court program, and then we can figure out how to preserve those other relationships. As far as I know, Benton County wants to preserve those as well. And I know Mr. Gonzalez has been in communication with Benton County's staff, and they are on board with it.
Okay.
Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. I talked to Matt Rasmussen, and he even crafted a letter for us in draft form to speed up the process, but they're fully supportive of what we're doing to move forward, and I think partly because we're establishing our own therapeutic court that Judge Orozco has done a fantastic job with, so it's time to bring it in-house, and then Benton County obviously has the need quite extensively for those spots, so it's been a cordial process and something that I think is necessary as you know, we develop our own initiatives and great programs that we have here in Franklin County. So it's been a good process.
Is this like a 60 or a 90-day notice what this would be doing?
No, it's a notice. So we have to provide notice by the end of this month, but the termination would be at the end of the year. So it's a 6-month notice, essentially. Maybe more like 5 months, I guess, because it's the end of June. So.
But at this time, we're not using the adult drug court because we have our own.
Right, that's right. So we no longer,
Are we still paying for it?
we are still paying for it. So that's why we want to get out of the agreement. We're not utilizing all of our spaces in the Benton County Adult Drug Court.
And Commissioners, that was one of the reasons why we wanted to reach out. I spoke with Matt Rasmussen as well at one of our recent meetings, and the idea behind this was we have about 6 remaining participants that are expected to graduate by the end of this year. We're no longer sending additional individuals over to their court because we have our own that has been able to be up and running. As Jeff pointed out earlier, the problem with the agreement, it kind of lumps all of these programs together. We feel that we're still in a good position and it makes benefit for both counties to continue our juvenile drug court as well as our veterans court until we have sufficient numbers that have increased to the point where it's going to require to obtain additional staff and whatnot to provide that programming. And that's really what we're looking at, is that these bi-county programs, I think, are really a good example of how we can save and consolidate resources. But as we grow and the needs continue, and as our needs within our county have grown, it really is reaching a point where Benton County has a need for filling those seats that we currently pay for with the adult drug court. So we basically are tying up those 20 seats, and we thought this makes a lot of sense. It's a mutual benefit to both counties. If we release those 20 seats, we have sufficient staffing on our end to do our own adult drug court. And as Jeff mentioned, we want to basically continue to do our juvenile drug court combined as well as the veterans court. Again, until at such point that it makes a mutual benefit to part ways, just because if it causes an increase in number of staffing at that point, because we have so many participants, then we could develop our own. And we've talked with the Veterans Coalition, and they said that they could be at a point where they could provide that additional staffing, but that's just one component of it. It's all the other treatment provider services and internal staff that would be needed. So right now we're good for those other two programs. We're just wanting to do what we think is a good opportunity for Benton County to take up those seats, but also a good opportunity for Franklin County now that we have our therapeutic court up and running. And Judge Orozco's here as well to speak to that if the board would like. But I think this would be a good move for us.
Okay. And Judge Orozco, you're in favor of this?
Yes, right now, it's my understanding that there may have been a change in numbers, so I think we have 3 people in the bi-county program. We have all of the remaining people coming to us. So we have 9, I believe, current participants, and then a wait list of at least, 10 to 12, which we have to go through and make sure they qualify. But all of those people that are coming to us have direct access to services. There's also some safety issues concerned where if we have somebody abscond, there's an instant warrant issued. So we contact the prosecutor, he gets in there, he lets them know it's taken care of, versus that coming in and then having to kind of go through the process. It's saving a lot of people time, and it's giving Benton County the opportunity to use those spaces, because they're not doing it because they're contractually required right now to save those for us. But I know that they really want to make sure they can start filling those, but until we get out of the contract, they can't do so.
All right, thank you.
And I think that was part of one of the issues that we're talking about with Matt, is to figure out, since we no longer have the need to fill those spots, if it's a benefit to Benton County, allow them to take those seats, and then we pay our pro rata share essentially of the remainder, since it sounds like that's a mutual benefit. And that's one of the finer pieces, but like Jeff said, the biggest part is we just have to give our notice formally so that it lets them know formally that we are departing from this contract, and hopefully we could just write probably separate contracts, so we have one specifically for the Veterans Court, one specifically for juvenile drug court. Just so that way, if we need to modify anything, we don't affect or disrupt the other programs.
All right. Any further discussion?
Certainly have my consensus, and thank you to Judge Orozco for leading this for Franklin County and for our community, and I think it's been a good change, and it's nice that that it's going to be able to benefit Benton County as well.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we draft a letter requesting our withdrawal from the bi-county drug court.
I would certainly second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 And if I could just do a friendly amendment to that it's the adult drug court, just the adult drug court.
Yeah, I said adult drug
Okay,
court.
okay.
All right, I think
That's
you have the
sufficient?
consensus.
Okay.
All right, moving on to Resolution 2024-097, Franklin County Property Management Ordinance presented by Mike Gonzalez.
Thank you, Chair. This is ordinance we've been working on for the past couple of months that gives us the opportunity to surplus properties in a more efficient fashion. So we've done our due diligence on this, and Jeff and I, we've reached out to multiple stakeholders in the courthouse. Auditor hasn't added any additional comments to his initial one, so I think we're satisfied that he's weighed in quite a bit. The treasurer sent us some additional information from Yakima County to see if there was any additional things we could glean from that. So with that being said, we worked on it quite hard, and appreciate Jeff's work on it, because he's done a lot of, obviously, the legal work and those components, but I feel pretty confident it's where we want it to be, and I'll let Jeff take it from here.
I did get some good feedback from the treasurer. She pointed out Yakima's property management policy, which does differ from ours in some pretty substantial ways. But let me just look at this, because I don't think, the way I've drafted it is that it is as an ordinance. We have a resolution here, so we would need to make it an ordinance, because we're codifying it. So I think we need to, at a minimum, come back with an ordinance. But the other thing I guess I would say is that, given the treasurer's input, I'd want to see if we could maybe incorporate some of her suggestions into this as well.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think there's no hurry in getting this done, and I like what Mr. Briggs has just said. And I talked to the auditor about this with his family issues at hand, and he's heading back to Texas today. I would really like to have him review this before we passed it. And of course, it is a resolution and not an ordinance, so we don't even have it on the agenda right.
Okay.
I just was going to say, I'm in favor of doing something like this. Certainly want to make sure that we do it properly, and did read some of the areas that the Yakima's ordinance is different than this, and think that there maybe could be some adjustments made to make it a little bit stronger. But as a general rule, I'm in favor of this, and look forward to it coming in the form we believe is correct.
Okay.
So with that said, there's no meeting next week on the 19th, so we'll move this for the 26th.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
Commissioner Administrator updates, Mr. Gonzalez.
Just been working hard with Jason Valentine to get this meeting at the HAPO Center. So it should be a pretty good turnout. We've got legislators, media from across the state, and most of the city jurisdictions. So in addition to that, just the normal everyday functions. So that's all I've got.
Was the meeting properly noticed, or can only one of us attend?
Yeah, there's going to be no decisions. I mean, you certainly could attend. So, it's not an official meeting. So it's not a special meeting where decisions by the board are going to be made.
Oh, I would interject that. I don't think two board members can meet and discuss business. I think that would trigger the OPMA. So I don't think it's been noticed. So I think we've really got to just stick with one commissioner going.
And this was the first I heard about it this morning, so I went in and had it on my schedule to begin with.
So Mr. Bauman will be attending the meeting today due to the fact that it wasn't properly noticed. Mr. Bauman, updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last week was a little bit light on official meetings for me. I did attend the Pasco Chamber Luncheon, where Visit Tri-Cities did a presentation and talked about their efforts, and really appreciate their efforts that they've been going through. For the first time, we have the Ironman coming to Tri-Cities, and that'll bring a lot of outside the area people to our city, as well as the International Horseshoe Pitching Championship will bring a lot of people to our community, and they shared about a lot of the other events and what their activities have been. I wanted to share something that has really been a lot of my conversations that I've had over the last week. I went to a memorial service yesterday for somebody that committed suicide, and it just has been weighing really, really heavy on my heart. The mental health needs that we have in our community. And I've had a tremendous number of phone calls over the last week, and coordination and learning about the Columbia Valley Center for Recovery, and trying to learn and understand that what that will look like, and those wraparound services that they will provide. Have been working to schedule a meeting to go do a walkthrough for a half a day at another facility outside of our area that provides something similar to that, and just trying to understand it, and appreciate all the people that have fielded calls from me, as well as called me, in concern to the Columbia Valley Center for Recovery, And there's, of course, there's the meeting this afternoon that some of us will be attending, learning more about what that center will provide, and just appreciate getting to learn more about it. And then OPD, there's been a lot of coordination happening for this meeting at the HAPO Center this morning, and it was originally the intention for that to be a part of our workshop meeting, but a little bit of miscommunication there. The idea of this meeting is to get our legislators together and for me, simply hat in hand saying, how do we do this? If the state passes these mandates down to us, and currently our Office of Public Defense comprises approximately 4% of our county budget, and fully implemented, this would be more than 17% of our county budget, just with these new requirements, and I don't know how we do that. And so my intention was to ask our legislators, as the ones that represent us in Olympia, how do we do this? And so that's the idea for this meeting. Really looking forward to seeing what their thought process is, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Didier.
Last week, we had a special Board of Health meeting, and that's about the leadership of the Board of Health and the hiring of a new administrator there. Then the Ben Franklin Workforce Development meeting, and the last thing I want to talk about is I've been sounding the horn about this water testing that's going to be taking place here by a couple different agencies, and one of them is the Department of Agriculture, to try to find getting funds from the state to test wells for pesticides. In Idaho, it just came out that the curtailment order by Idaho's Director Weaver, Outer Department of Water Resources, has pulled the water, put red tags on these delivery spots on 500,000 acres of planted crops. So they're done getting water this year. You can't finish out a potato crop when they got $4,000 an acre invested in that right now. There will be no return. We're next. This is happening all over the Northwest. You got the Klamath Basin. They're only getting 3/4 of their amount of water this year. This is the Snake River Basin in Idaho. They're pulling their water, and it's all that there was an agreement about replenishing the aquifers. They had a drought for a couple years, and they didn't get replenished, so they're pulling their water. The reservoirs are full, the mountains are full of snow, and they're still pulling their water. This is going to jeopardize the economic health of Idaho dramatically. It's something that just came out the other day, and it's been weighing heavy on my heart, because without food, this country will not survive. We can't import food to feed America. It won't work. We have to raise it ourselves. So it's a big concern of mine, and I would ask you to please look into it also, and let's get active on making sure this doesn't happen here in the Columbia Basin. Thank you.
Thank you. So last week had the Greater Columbia Behavioral Health. Good news out of that area. They're doing a great job. They've had some audits lately and passed with flying colors. So good job to Greater Columbia Behavioral Health. Also had the long-term aging and care meeting last week, along with the Board of Health. The food storage fire that was in Kennewick. There, a lot of discussion on air concerns and air quality over there. Had the Chamber membership luncheon. Visit Tri-Cities was the guest speaker with Kevin making the presentation. Visit Tri-Cities is paid for with hotel tax, and they have a staff of approximately 13 to 15 people at any given time. They do a great job of bringing activities here to the Tri-Cities and promoting tourism. And it's just a great asset that we have here in Franklin County to use towards our HAPO Center as far as trying to utilize that facility with working with Visit Tri-Cities. So they are a a great group of professional people that are specialized in promoting tourism. So, also had discussion with citizens here in Franklin County about the gate on the easement going to the green energy building over there by the Esquatzel. They're having the same issues as what Carbody Beach is having, with people going down there and littering and dumping tires, and to the point to where their easement is being blocked by cars parked on the easement. So been working with Jeff Briggs to amend that easement to where they can put up a gate and try to alleviate a lot of the dumping of garbage and needles down there. So that concludes my report for this past week. So now we will move on to administrative office business.
Chair, just a few things. Been in conversation with Lord's Health about the sobering center. So they've been asking for whether or not we're going to fund that or not. There's been a little bit of a wrinkle. There could be some zoning issues. So I'd like to request one of the commissioners attend that with me. There's going to be a meeting with the city of Pasco and Lord's. So if there is a commissioner that would like to volunteer, I would like some presence of a board member there, so we can get you guys can have some clarity in terms of one-on-one conversation with that process. Other thing, been talking with the sheriff's office about the communication tax. So my understanding that they would like to come forward on the 26th, get some direction on that, if we are going to put it on the ballot and at what level. So just those two things to really kind of put out there, but other than that, that's all we've got.
And this date, with your meeting with the city of Pasco on the Lord's Sobering Center, do you have a date in mind?
We're working on some dates. It might be the 19th, which is a Friday, or it could be the 21st. So we're working out those dates. So as soon as I know something.
July or June?
Is it a Wednesday? Oh, that's right.
Juneteenth.
Let me see. The 19th was a date that popped into my head.
Yeah, it's
Let me see real
June
quick.
19th.
I think we're looking at either the 20th or the 21st. So as soon as I get an actual date, I'll send an email out.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, moving on to public comment. Is there anyone in the room for public comment? If so, you have 3 minutes. Please come forward, state your name. Do we have any callers on the phone? No. Do we have anybody in the audience for public comment? All righty. Is there a need for executive session?
There is. So there's a need under 4230, 110, 1I, potential litigation. We would also need a closed session after that, which I don't think we need to announce, but I'll announce it anyway. It'd be 4230, 140, and that's for union negotiations. That one should only take about 5-10 minutes. Although we can end the meeting and then go into a closed session. We don't have to continue the meeting. So that one's less critical to actually state the time. However, the executive session, we're probably going to need about 30 minutes. Is Larry Leisure available? Do you know?
I could give
Talk
him
about the HAPA RFP.
I could give him a call.
Okay.
Let's see.
So we'll do that. Initially, we'll want Mike here, and then we'll want to exclude him and just have the board and Mr. Sant, my boss.
Okay. So just to reiterate, there will be no workshop discussion today due to the meeting at the HAPO Center for the legislators on the Office of Public Defense. Yeah, and that's at 11 o'clock, so that's why we're trying to move the moving the workshop discussion to a later date. So with that said, we will go into executive session under the RCW code stated by Jeffrey Briggs. And after that will be the conclusion of the meeting. So if anybody was waiting around for the workshop, there will be no workshop today. Thank you. Thank you. We're in executive session, so, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Hold on, we're back on the record. Go ahead.
So we've come out of executive session. We're going to extend for executive session for another 20 minutes under the same RCW code. The time now is 12:05. I'm sorry, 10:05. Thank you. executive session with So we've come out of executive session. Is there any business for the good of the county? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.